Do you think it's realistic to wait until marriage to have sex?
No.
No? Okay.
Why do you say that?
Because I feel like especially like when it comes to like older couples and stuff, like if you're thinking about marrying the person, I feel like you have to have both like a good non-physical relationship, like be able to like get along with them obviously, but you have to have a good physical one too.
No, I don't think it's realistic because to really make a marriage work, you have to know the ins and outs of your partner.
Do you think it's realistic to wait until marriage to have sex?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Because people have done it before.
No, it's not realistic at all, but it kind of depends on your preferences.
Alright, do you think it's realistic to wait until marriage to have sex?
Absolutely not.
No, I don't think it's realistic because when you're in a relationship with someone for so long, you can't expect to be with each other fully if you haven't, like, emotionally connected with them all the way.
Do you think it's realistic to wait until marriage to have sex?
Yes.
I'd say no. In today's society, I think it's very unlikely to find two people that have waited their entire lives or until marriage to have sex with each other.
It's something beautiful and awesome and incredible, and to stifle it or to only wait for one person is just an archaic idea.
Why do you think it's important? Because it says so in the Bible.
Because, I mean, 21st century, like, that's what happens.
Why do you think it's different in the 21st century?
Mainly because maybe there's less, like, censorship has to do with a lot of it. Like, a lot of, like, before, like PG movies and stuff, like, they was, like, completely censored, but now, like, kids are more exposed to stuff.
Society has gotten to the point where it's just like, even in music and everything, it's just like degrading women and putting them as an object rather than like a person, and like being with someone is supposed to be special, and it's not anymore. It's just like a thing that people do as a pastime.
I think it's different just because of the culture. Like, everything is more sexually oriented. Everything on TV has sex on it. Everything that sells has sex on it.
It could be this emotional, magical thing for everyone, but instead it's just like, it's like the backbone of society just snapped, and it's rappers and sex gods, and that's all it is now.
With the media and superstars, it's just...
So you think the media, like, glorifies sex?
Yeah.
Generally, my age group is a very, like, I don't think people are very against it. Like, I think people do it.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's okay?
Because they want to be cool. Like, it's not because, like, oh, like, I want to have sex. No, it's because they want everyone to know that they have sex.
Like, no one-night stands?
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't, okay. But do you think it's cool?
Do I think it's cool? Like, cool as in allowable?
Hip.
Hip. I mean, I'm sure it's exciting, but sex is a complicated thing. It's not. It can do a lot of damage if it's just, for the act of sex instead of in the pursuit of something more than just physical pleasure.
Why do you think the Bible says that? I mean, like, not to have sex.
Because it's not worth, like, throwing yourself around, to, like, people you don't want to marry.
Do you think, like, what are your thoughts on, like, hooking up? Is it cool?
I mean...
With, like, random people.
I mean, with random people, it's not cool at all. Like, I still think, like, if you're going to do, like, premarital sex, it has to be, like, you actually like the person.
Like, you should have, like, connection with that person if you want to do it.
Like...
Anonymous sex?
Anonymous sex, like, hooking up? This is what you
don't have sex
it?
with people that you don't know their name.
You don't think there's a problem with that? Having sex with a stranger?
Having sex with strangers? It's mutually beneficial. Why would it be? I want to have sex, she wants to have sex, he wants to have sex, whoever wants to have sex.
When do you think would be a good age to have sex?
Not age, just like time or age, whenever.
Like college.
Feel the same way about each other and feel strongly enough that, they want to act on, their sexuality, then that's probably the best time to go for it.
When you're in a relationship in college, like, I don't know. like, do you believe you have to be in a relationship with the person?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think, like, views on sex are different between teenage girls and teenage guys?
Yeah, I mean, it depends, but I think guys care less about it than girls.
Really? What do you mean care less?
Like, I feel like a guy could, like, sleep with a bunch of girls, like, more so than a girl would sleep with a bunch of guys.
So it's cool not to be
For boys,
virgin.
yeah. For the girls, not as much, and they get called like bad words.
In high school, like for boys, it's like cool to like go around and sleep with a bunch of girls. But then if a girl does it, everyone's like, I don't want to say a bad word. So like,
It's frowned upon.
It's frowned upon. So I think that for boys, it's like, I'm a man, like that's sex. But so like I feel like for them it's like a good thing, and for girls it's like, I want to be wanted.
Do you think there's any difference between the way teenage boys and teenage girls perceive sex?
Yeah, like teenage guys, some teenage guys just find it as like a game to play, like how many girls can I screw, and then teenage girls like take it as like, hey, I'm feeling YOLO tonight, let's go have sex with Bobby.
I think girls, it's more of a way to connect with somebody, and with boys, it's more of like they want to reach that like feeling, I guess. It's not about connecting with someone, it's about feeling good and just like the act of it, not how you'll feel after.
Sex is completely different for guys and girls. Guys, for the most part, have been desensitized by the media and advertisements, and even pornography itself is geared towards men instead of women most of the time. Most things, television, movies, if you see nudity or sexual content, it's always going to be the woman with her breasts out, not the man with his penis out. That's just a lot of times how it goes. That's how people sell things most of the time. So for guys, women have sort of been objectified, whether they are aware of that or not. Subconsciously, that comes into play. For girls, sex is a lot different because sex it carries a lot more risk with it. Girls, they're literally giving their bodies to someone, and that's a big deal because unlike guys, they can actually get pregnant, and so sex is a much larger commitment, and the risk-reward ratio is a lot more scattered for them, because even when you use condoms or other sort of pregnancy preventing tools, there's always a little % chance that something could go wrong and they could get pregnant, and then that's them with their bodies on the line, their lives on the line, their futures on the line, and you can't just give that away to anyone. It has to be special, and for them to do that, it takes a lot more emotional strength to just give themselves so completely to that idea and that action than it is for guys who, they can come away from sex and be the same person as they were. Nothing changes to their body unless, there's a disease, but for the most part, they're going to be the same when they're finished. And girls, that may not be the case.
Okay, some people say there's like emotional repercussions to having sex before marriage. What do you think about that?
If you can't handle it, don't do it. If your psyche, if you're not gonna, I'm just gonna throw it out there and say a large majority of the people who are scarred after having a sexual experience are not men, it's women. And if your psyche is not strong enough to handle such things, then go lock yourself in your room and wait till you're 25, and hopefully you'll get married and be able to have sex then. But if you think you can handle yourself, and I don't think sex is the biggest jump for people. There's much bigger things than sex, like a real relationship. It's easier for me to have sex with a stranger than have a full-time relationship.
How do you resist that?
Yeah, how do you deal with that?
I really have to say, I have enough self-respect, I think, to not do that.
How could it be bad?
Like when a girl has sex, she feels like an emotional tie to them. She releases a hormone, and if that person wasn't the right person to have sex with, then obviously when they leave, then obviously you'll have some emotional regrets and repercussions, and you'll feel bad about yourself.
It's exploring yourself and its pleasure. You can become addicted to it just like you can anything else. I can become addicted to yo-yoing or, watching the History Channel too.
Without being married, isn't it like inevitable that they'll leave? Does that ever?
What do you
don't think about it? Like, wouldn't marriage solidify that they're not going to leave?
Sort of, except there are a lot of divorce rates, obviously. That's a good question. I'm not sure.